second round destruction from Benn and Chris Van Heerden, another great performance. The man from Essex headlining in Liverpool in front of a big crowd, now Manchester. One of the biggest stars of British boxing, one of the biggest stars of world boxing. We're going to go over to the floor for questions.
Kind of just in terms of how disruptive that was, as Eddie mentioned, what were your immediate reactions after that one? That was exactly how we thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised. I hit him in the first round hard. And you know when you hit someone hard and you know it hurts them. So I'm not really surprised, to be honest, mate. That's what I train hard for. My knockouts coming in 4 rounds, so I knew him trying to box me and using tricky, so we weren't going to work. Eventually going to catch up with him.
There's been rumblings that the Hearn fight maybe happened next. Obviously, he got in the ring afterwards. What did you make of that experience in the ring with him? Did you actually think that's realistic?
I don't think so, no, not to be honest. Listen, he's done what he's had to do. I saw a few articles of him saying that he fancies to fight with me. So I thought we'd get him in there to express them sort of feelings, which weren't there. So, it's fine. Listen, I'm on a different trajectory in my career and, the only way's up.
You think it's unfair that you got booed in there tonight? It's a bit sad to see someone like that get that sort of treatment afterwards.
Of course it is. I mean, listen, he's former world champion. He's a young fighter for the achievement sport of boxing. So we don't very got booed, but it is what it is. We can't like that. I ain't going to say something about it.
Yourself, you always said, I'll fight anyone who's put in front of me.
I ain't too fussed with it. Yeah. I work hard, this is what I work hard for. I train to fight anyone, I fight southpaw, orthodox, boxing, puncher, mover, waiter. It really controls me.
Prior to the fight, Chris said that was the best fight he fought. Would you speak after the fight and compare your performance?
Again, talking is cheap, it doesn't matter what people say, what people think, and I say I'm the best rollerweight, the best rollerweight, that's what I believe. So it doesn't matter what he says or what Jerry says or what anyone else says, it matters what you believe. I believe I'm one of the best rollerweights out there in the world. So everyone's good. When you get to this stage, it's a matter of small measures, it's a matter of inches, there's no difference. And I think I'm under a gold level, so I don't know that to me.
What do you want?
I'm honestly not fussed. I really think fight with him in front. He's going to only get higher up in the rankings. You see, you've got your guest next fight tonight. So any of them, it doesn't matter.
Did you expect to finish like that?
Not that early. I said that if Van Heerden could get past 4 or 5 rounds, it could be interesting, but Connor's a beast, even from the first bell, just wouldn't give him a second. And that's what you've got to do to it, especially to older fighters that have been a little bit inactive. You've got to set about them, and that's why he's so excited. Just a few in the first round, but to land several more. And already after the first round, he went back to the corner thinking, what the fuck have I signed up for here? And obviously in the second round, he just got absolutely destroyed. So there'll always be criticism, but no one's done that to Chris Van Heerden. But what that does show by dealing with a fighter of that quality, that easily, is it's time. It's time to move up, and it's time to move on. And the progression's been incredible. And as I said earlier, it would be absolute madness to get to world championship level having never faced a southpaw. For his development, I think that was really important, and it was another brilliant performance.
Can you answer what candidates and other candidates and keep third one before the big fight today with Gas and Earl Spence Jr.? What can realistically happen?
Well, tonight actually we're supposed to fight Maurice Hooker, which is actually a really good fight. And if we fight sooner rather than later, that could be another name that comes in. But if we wait till later in the summer, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Adrian Broner, these are all massive fights that fill up the O2. But I feel that he's ready for those guys. It's nerve-wracking, because they're another level to the opposition we'll be facing. But he's been breezing through this opposition. And it's really down to Tony to say, Conor would fight anybody. He wouldn't even have to go to him to ask. But it will be Tony's decision to look at it and say, yes, the perfect step now at the perfect time. So it doesn't really matter. I can tell you fights that will fill the O2 and pay Conor Benn a load of money. But this man will be the one that says yes, or maybe one more, and so on.
Conor, when Eddie mentions about filming against an American name, there's also the other side of it. You could break America as well. Eddie's obviously got matches in the USA, absolutely flying. Is that something that's on your radar as well?
Definitely, but I want to keep it for the British public for the time being. I mean, I want them to, really see a progression. And they have, it's a blessing to be fighting all over the country, fighting in Liverpool, Leeds, Manchester. It's a blessing. Still ain't for Newcastle. Could be.
Yeah, but also when you look at it, every fighter that's drawing a big crowd in the UK right now is at the back end stage of his career. Even AJ he's still got plenty of fights left, but Tyson Fury, Kell Brook just fought, he's virtually done Chris Eubank. He doesn't draw the same crowd as Conor, but at the same time, he is at the back end of his career. Conor's a young man. Conor's got 5-6 years left in the sport. So that's why it's really important to keep him in the UK as well, because the headline acts of British boxing, they're actually filling arenas, are coming to the back end of his career. There's no one his age in the UK. There's actually not really anyone in the UK outside of AJ and probably Tyson Fury who are capable of boxing in every city and drawing good solid crowds. So I want to keep him in the UK, but of course we have the ability to put him in the US anytime we want. But also, making a lot of money, wants to make even more money, and to do that, we want him in the UK headlining in big fights.
Conor, in that sense, Eddie's talking about, going back to the other two. Like, as you see, you've been a road warrior going around the north of England. So what would it mean to you to go back to the next of the O2 to fill it out against the big?
I don't know, mate, because listen, a ring's a ring for me. I'll fight anyone anywhere. I fight in a telephone box. There could be Mickey Mouse and Don Ducks in ringside. You're in a fight. It could be anywhere. You're not focused on that or where it is, the location. You're just focused on getting the job done and beating the other man up convincingly. When I'm in there, I'm just focused on my opponent. But fighting back in London would be great. Great for the fans, great for the supporters. But it doesn't matter to me where I fight, as long as it's in the UK. It's overwhelming the love I get shown. When I come to Manchester, Liverpool, I'll never get used to it. Let's put it like that. I went out there and I went to Luke, I'll never get used to this. The love, people waiting around for me, and it's just what I do. It's just nice. It really is nice.
Hey Conor, Eddie mentioned some great names. He says if you want to go maybe later with someone, what would you want? Like, I know things can change, but in an ideal situation, what would you pick now? Who would you
Who would I pick? It would make sense for me. Brook's number one in the rankings. I don't know about now, but he is number one in the ranking in terms of Britain. He's former world champion. He's just come off a great win card. He's highly ranked in the world rankings. That makes sense for me in terms of progression of my career because he's ranked. I'm not too fussed about the calm fight. The reason I've got him in is for him to express them feelings that he's said in other interviews about him wanting to fight me. But now we know it's not the case in black and white. So Kell Brook will probably be my go-to, and then obviously you've got Keith Hearn, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia. I'm not too interested in Mauricio Cruffy. He's of the same level as Van Hearn. I think the Danny Garcias and Mikey Garcias, you guys fighting tonight, those are the sort of names I want. But listen, I'll let them do the matchmaking, I'll do the fighting, and as long as we keep being convincingly, we're all good.
Because it looks like Brook might be one further down the line. Is that Eubank fight attachment?
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But I don't know, you've got a welterweight fighter. I think it's another compliment to Kell Brook as well. Don't forget, when we were negotiating to talk about Brook Hearn, I dropped that offer and I said to Amir, let's just make the Conor Benn fight. And it's not that he was scared of Conor Benn, but he didn't want a young, fucking horrible pest in the ring that was just going to brutalise him. He wanted to fight someone who was probably looking for a payday as well. But then after that, now we said to Kell Brook, we've offered him the same money that he made to fight Amir Khan, and he asked for £10 million. I mean, that tells you all he says. And now, Kell Brook's looking to fight Chris Eubank Jr. at 158 rather than fighting Conor Benn at his weight. We'd take that fight at 150, no problem. So that shows you again, it's the compliments to Conor Benn. Because what they're looking at, and they're looking at him and going, he's a fucking horrible, spiteful motherfucker. So you've got to give him 10 million quid to get in with that horrible, spiteful motherfucker. I'll fight Chris Eubank Jr. instead at 158 pounds. Instead of him. What a compliment. A couple of years ago, they were laughing at him, going, I'll fight Conor Benn. Oh, blimey. Now they're asking for 10 mil to fight Conor Benn.
Love it.
Do you find that the matchmaking is going to get more difficult then?
More difficult and more expensive.
Eddie, you can't make one of the big.
That frustration, how does that motivate you to push through your career?
I'm not really frustrated because at the end of the day I'm not really fazed by anyone else or what they think. I'm on a good trajectory at the minute with my career, and you know, I'm in a great position. I'm doing what I need to do. You know, I ain't really concerned about what anyone else says because it ain't relevant. It don't matter. I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm clearly doing the right thing because I'm sitting here right now doing this interview undefeated. And it's not just doing it undefeated, it's how I look doing it. So I'm clearly doing the right thing. All you other people who are chasing me or hunting me down, all you want is baby, you want baby. And I ain't giving it to them because while they're making what they're making, I'm making what I'm making. And I'm knocking people out.
Well, we saw Tom's face when he came into the ring, he did not want any of that.
No, I know, but I thought I'd give him the opportunity to come in here and express because I thought if he goes, yeah, we fancy it, then you know it's a done deal. But he don't. But you can't blame him because at the end of the day, if I was him, I wouldn't fancy it. Genuinely, who needs that in their life? Who needs me in their life?
All right, guys, great night, great performance. Well done.